and thank you for subscribing to Infoverse Tech. We are continuing our series on Node-RED and how you can use Node-RED to create flows for IoT and IIoT industries. Today we're going to look at a use case where we are reading data in different forms and we are applying some string functionality on that, transforming it using the available string functions. So let's get started and let's see how we can go about creating those flows. So let's head over to my setup here where I have Node-RED running, and this hasn't changed from the previous tutorials, and I will be sure to link those here, where we've shown different ways of creating Node-RED flows using some of the core nodes like a function node and a read node and similar. So today we are going to use the read node, but we are going to see how we can run some string functions once we're reading that data from the file. So this is a very straightforward setup. I just have a timestamp to inject some like a timestamp just to initiate it, and then we have a read file. We're reading a file from the host directory. We have some string functions, and then we're displaying that on the debug there. So let's take a first example where we're using a file called lower.txt. So that's how we're accessing it. So it's on the /data/lower.txt. We're reading one message per line, and let me show you what we have in that file. So let me just lower.txt, and we have a text saying all these words are in lowercase. Is this sentence lower or upper? So just some text to see how we can transform that. And the function that we're going to apply is the uppercase. So let me just write it here, and we'll see how that text is read and then converted into uppercase using the toUppercase function. So let's save that. Everything looks good. So here we have a variable. We're defining a variable text changes, reading in from the message.payload. Then we are transforming this using the toUppercase function and then returning that. So let's quickly do that. Let's redeploy and let's run that. So all the text that we have, those two lines, are successfully converted into an uppercase. Let's look at another example where we can actually look at the length of these sentences, right? So let me replace this with and let's rerun that. And you can see we can successfully get the length of those two lines, 33 characters and 32 characters. Now let's look at another example where we are using something called a similar file but called upper. So upper.txt. Here both the lines are in uppercase. We want to apply the toLowercase function to convert them. So very similar to the first one that we just did. So let's take a look here. Let's change that to lowercase. That's the function. Everything else remains the same. What we need to do is just make sure that we're reading that file that I've already created and set up here. So it's going to be upper.txt. Let's redeploy. Let's remove the messages from the previous flows and let's run that. So you can see that we are reading a file that has two lines, all uppercase, and we are able to successfully convert that into lowercase. Let's look at another example where we can actually replace the text that we're reading. So we are going to use so I've named the files that it's easier to associate. So I'm calling it replace.txt, and what we are going to do is we are going to replace Infoverse with universe. Let's have a quick peek at that file. So it's replace You can see the 4 lines. So an example of using replace function to change text. Hello Infoverse becomes hello universe using replace function, and hello Infoverse and hello Infoverse, right? Just repeating that. So let's quickly run that. So we've already changed the file. Let's change the function. So I'm just going to use the replace here. Very simple syntax. I'll just explain that. Let me just put it here. Right, so this is pretty straightforward. So what we are doing is using the replace function. So Infoverse is the text that we're looking for, and we are going to replace that with universe, and we're going to return that as a message payload. Right, so that looks good. Let's save that. Let's clean this, redeploy, and let's run that. So when we run that, you can see we had 4 lines. So this remains unchanged because there was no Infoverse in that line. Here we had hello Infoverse that changed to hello universe. This one also changed successfully, however this one did not. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to guess why this one did not change while this one did. So let's quickly go back to our file and let's have a look. So as you can see, there's a slight difference in the uppercase, right? So we have a capital V, here we have a small case v. That's why it's not being replaced, because it's matching it's case sensitive. So let's change that and see how that changes our output. So here I'm going to change that to a capital V as well, and let's rerun that. So we don't need to let that previous stay output stay here, so that when we run this, you will see that the output is now we're getting both as hello universe. So it's successfully able to search for Infoverse with the capital V and replace it with universe. So another use case that can be applied in a real world situation. Let's look at another example where we can split an incoming text into various ways, using comma separated or using just space or pipe. Let's have a quick look at that. So the file that we're going to use is called split. Makes sense to give it that name. So split.txt, everything else remains the same. Let's have a look at this file. So it's split, and you can see here we have pipes, so we can just quickly change that. So this is an example of using split on, and let me change this to pipes, right? So that makes sense. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's change that function here. So instead of this function, we are going to remove the replace, and we're going to use that text changes, apply the split function, and we're going to use a pipe. Okay, that looks good. Let's save that. I believe we have an error there. I think we might have an extra bracket. Let's quickly check that. Yeah, we do. So let's get rid of that. Let's save that. Okay, let's clear the output. Let's still showing that error message. Let's see what's going on. So we are saying payload text changes dot split and return message. Okay. So let's see. Okay, that looks okay now. Let's run that. Let's change the file, or that's split.txt. Let's see what's going on. Let's open this guy. So this is an example of using pipes. Okay, that should run fine. So you can see that it was able to separate that or split that text based on where it's finding the pipe. Now let's change that to another option. Let's say use commas. So instead of pipe, let's say comma. Save this. Change the file. So let's change that to could also do a quick search, but I think this is just small files, so we can do it quickly. Okay, and this one I can replace it with commas, so it makes more sense. So all we're doing is we have this line of text, and we are going to split it on commas. So let's see how that works out. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's run that. Let's redeploy. And when we run that, you can see that again it's able to successfully split it based on the comma, where it found the comma. Okay. Let's look at another example. So the next example we're going to look at is slice, which can be used to extract part of a string. So let's see. We're going to use the slice.txt file. Let's change that here. So instead of split, we're going to use slice.txt. Everything else remains the same. Let's have a look at that file. So we're saying, okay, so again a very simple sentence saying use splice to extract part of a string. Okay, that's good. We have that file already. We've named it here. Let's look at the string function. So here we're going to replace the split with slice. And let's say we want to extract a part of that string, right? So let's use 2, and I'll explain how this works. So we start from the from 0 position, and we go all the way to character 9, and let's see what is the output, how much it's going to extract from that string that we saw earlier. So as you can see, it cut or extracted use slice, and let's see how that happened. So if I bring up this file and we just start counting from the left, so you have 0, it starts with a 0, so this is u is at 0, 0 1 2 3, the space is counted, 4 5 6 7 8 9. So when we are extracting from 0 to 9, it's able to extract this use slice from that string. So again, use case can be very real world. You have this incoming data coming in, and you just want a part of that, a certain part of that string, so you can able to extract that part that you are interested in. Right, let's have another look at how slice can give us more information. So let's say we want to extract slice from here, right? So what we're going to change here is looking at that string. Let's say we start from position 4 to 9. Let's redeploy, and when we run that, you see it's able to extract just the slice part, right? Because it's this time the offset was 4 instead of 0. Now let's look at another where we are able to remove this 9, so comma and empty. That indicates that 4 onwards it'll count to the end of the and extract that part from the string. So when we redeploy and run that, you can see that from starting from slice, which is the 4th offset, all the way to the end of the string. So this is another way to also extract parts from various positions in the incoming data. Now let's look at another way to look at this or extract this information. So instead of a positive number, we're giving it a negative number, and what this does is that it counts in the reverse direction. So when we redeploy and we run that, you see it it extracted part of a string. So let's see how it achieved that. So if we just open up that file, you can see if you start counting from G, which is the end of the string, so and you count backwards to 16, so 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16, right? And remember, the blank spaces, the empty spaces, are also counted. So we were able to extract this from the incoming sentence that we have here. So again, very useful. You can by giving it a negative number, you're actually starting from the end of the string and counting backwards. Let's look at another example where we want to extract again a part of that string, and we move in the reverse direction, and we count let's say from 11 to 16. Let's save that. Let's redeploy and let's rerun that, and you can see it was able to extract okay. So let me just pull that. So what we are doing is we are moving from 11 to 16. Okay, so my bad. So starting from this 11th position to the 16th position and moving from the right side to the left. Let's redeploy, and when we run that, let me just remove this and let's rerun that. So you can see I was able to extract part, which, as you can see, if I start counting from here, so 16 and between 11 and 16, and this is what we are able to extract successfully. So we've shown how we can use slice to extract parts of a string. However, we've used static values for the end and for the start and the end. How about if we could somehow code it in such a way that it could be automated? So one way to do that would be to use like the length function to determine the length of that incoming stream or string, and then use that to create the slice command. So let's see how we can do that. So the read file remains the same. We're using slice.txt. Let's have a look at the string function, how we can achieve that. So here I'm just adding in row 2 a length variable, and that's equal to the incoming text changes string, dot length, so it calculates the length of this string, and then in message dot payload we give it the value of text changes dot slice function, and then here we are just making up something, a number like 10, so the offset is 10, and then it goes all the way to the end of the length, and let's say -5. So this is the string that we're looking for. Starts at offset 10 and then goes all the way to the end of the string, but -5 offset of that. So let's see how that works out. So let's redeploy, and when we run that, we see that we got part of that string, right? Let's add another change here. So let's reuse this. Let's make it let's say -7 comma. So here we're saying take the length of the string, -7 of that, offset of -7, and then comma blank, meaning go all the way to the end of the string. So when we execute that, we get string. So let's have a look at the, so if you look at slice.txt, so the total length is perhaps 37. So 37 minus 7 would be starting at 30 here somewhere, and then going all the way to the end. So we are able to extract this. So this example could be aligned to a real world use case where you have this incoming data, and as long as you can calculate the value of the or the length of that string, you then have these further calculations to say, okay, starting from offset 10 or offset 5 or whatever number that we desire, the part of the text to extract, we can then use the length function to determine either the start point or the end point, and in a way automate this extraction process. So these were very interesting examples of manipulating, transforming the text that we're getting, and these are all related to the string functions that are available to us. Let's do a quick one, which is to convert a number to string. So the file that we're going to use is test numbers. So test numbers.txt. Everything else remains the same. Let's have a quick peek at that file. So let's test, and it's just a bunch of numbers. So let's see how we can convert this into a string. So let me just bring it here. So again, a very simple function that we create. So just creating a new variable num. It's getting the message.payload, and then we're running toString. So whatever's coming in the payload is being converted into a string, and we're returning that. So let's deploy that. Let's remove this, and let's run that. And you can see those 4 numbers are converted into their respective strings. So thank you for watching. This was just a quick intro to reading a file and then applying some string functions of JavaScript on the incoming data, incoming stream of words, you can say, on sentences or any kind of strings that are being read, and we are able to manipulate them in different ways. So thank you for watching, and be sure to click the links that I'll add here to get more information, more tutorials on Node-RED. Thank you for watching.